Welcome to Classic Value Investors and Microcap Explosions. This is Mariusz Konieczny. I'm talking with Calvin Froedge. Calvin, how are you?
I'm good.
Calvin, Suez Canal is blocked. Can you tell us what this means for the shipping market, tankers, product, and anything that you can think of?
Okay, so basically, you've got 12% of the world's trade going through the Suez Canal every day. All right, containers are already super tight. I was talking to one guy. He was telling me that he he thinks that right now to ship a container all spot from where was it? Just a second. Yeah, so Shanghai to Europe, he was figuring right now 12K TEU ship with all spot boxes $1 million a day. Okay, so containers are already insanely tight.
How does this $1 million a day compare to, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago?
Well, I mean, if you look at, you can look at the Harpex rates or contacts. So, just looking at just like eyeballing the curve, if we go back to January, let's see. Yeah, so we're up 40%, 45% since January. The rates have quadrupled since last summer. So it's on a long-term basis. The all-time high was back in like early 2000s, 2000, early 2000s. We're closing in on that high. Not there yet, but it's really getting up there. So basically, container markets are super tight. Dry bulk markets have been tightening. Product tanker markets have been tightening. And so, basically just on sentiment and 5 days of the Suez Canal being closed, Suezmax rates, are up 70% in 2 days. Product tanker rates are up about 35%. LR2 rates are up about 35% in 2 days. So, I mean, you've already seen, today dry bulk FFAs were flat. I think Capes were up. Supermaxes were down a little. But yesterday, it was up like 10%. So, I mean, you're already seeing a pretty strong reaction in the markets from, as far as freight rates go from from the canal closure. And, the Egyptians, they really have they really have, an incentive to kind of keep things, appearing like they're going to have it fixed any second. And I mean, I'm not on the ground, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But I mean, this ship is the length of the Empire State Building. It's there's no floating crane in the world that can pull containers off of that thing. I mean it's gigantic. And there's thousands and thousands of containers on that ship, and basically both sides of the ship are, I think they just moved the stern today, but the bow is really deep in the mud, and they're talking. And I looked at the soil samples for the area and the engineering diagrams and all that stuff. And I mean, it seems, I mean, I don't know. They could, have it out with high tide, but it's a very large, very heavy ship, and it's in soft clay. That's the bottom line.
And now, how did it even happen? Like, was this a mistake, or was it the wind that took it there? I mean, or too much tonnage on it?
the only people that really know are the people on that ship and God, right? Um, but you know what we can see is that the ship did a dick pattern in the ocean before entering the canal. It goes a few kilometers in, and past Suez, Egypt, and then basically somehow turns sideways at high speed. It was going like almost 14 knots. Turns sideways and high speed, just like slams into the shallow bank. So, I mean, how exactly did it happen? The official story is that it was a big dust storm, or like a strong wind. There was some kind of storm, right? Strong wind, or that there was wind and then the wind stopped. I've heard different versions of it,
Hmm.
but
So obviously
regardless of what the reality is, uh, we've got this big ship blocking arguably the most important waterway on the planet.
so they're gonna work on it, and they're gonna you know one way or another they're going to fix the situation. We don't know how long it's gonna take, but so do you see the rates spiking as something temporary or something more permanent?
Well, if it stays there, or I mean, just the ship staying there, that's not even the worst case scenario, because if the ship stays there, then presumably they could build some infrastructure on the side. They could unload the containers, put a crane there. Maybe the worst case scenario, I think, and it's possible. There's some historical precedent for this. It's happened in other places with smaller, lighter ships. Is this thing could actually break apart or capsize while they're trying to free it. The hull could lose integrity. At one point, it was really dangerous because you had, it's deeper in the middle, and both ends of the ship, were basically, supported by the bank. And these ships aren't designed to undergo those kinds of conditions. They're supposed to float in the ocean and have the weight distributed evenly, right? So it's not even outside of the realm of possibility that the thing could literally break in two.
You mean the ship?
Yeah, like the ship could literally break. The ship could break in two. It could get stuck there. You could have one of the world's largest container ships sink in the Suez Canal. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying it's a possibility.
In other words, we could have
I
a
mean, the
big
Titanic
mess.
happened, right?
Yeah.
The Titanic was I think at the time, the largest cruise ship ever built. It hit an iceberg, it sunk, and thousands of rich people drowned. I mean, sometimes shit like that happens.
Yeah. So obviously you're an investor, you're looking at this situation, and you are playing it one way or another. Would you share how you're playing it, with what names?
Yeah, well, I mean, if people really want to, get into that, then we're usually discussing this in the Tanker Data Discord, and I think you guys have a coupon code where they can sign up with. But I mean, here's the bottom line. Okay, if this canal stays blocked, every shipping segment is going to go bonkers. The container market is going to is just going to completely stop working. Okay, we're talking about shortages of consumer goods. There's just not going to be enough capacity. I mean, it's already tight as hell, and without that canal, I mean, I think 20% of the world's container traffic goes through there. And the container markets are already crazy tight. So you add another 12 days to go around the Cape to that, and it just doesn't work anymore. On the dry bulk, the market was already pretty good. Things were firming up. Tankers, like I said, a lot of the inventories have been drawn down. Now we've got some of this some more fresh virus scare stuff with the variants and some more lockdowns, some air travel getting shut off. But the product tanker market was still firming. Rates were already trending up before this happened. And, just 5 days of the canal being blocked and, you're already seeing a lot of rate spikes. I mean, it's not every route. It's not everywhere. Okay. But, just as an example, so the average this month, okay, for, VLCC rates, was $500 a day. As of today, $6,000 a day, the average, okay? The average for Suezmax this month was $9,000. As of today, $20,000. Aframax are about where they were. Panamax are up about 30%. LR2s have tripled. LR1s are up 60-70%. MRs are up 20%. So and then if you look back at the quarter or the year, you kind of see a similar picture, right? I mean, everything was already moving up, and then this happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But it's not every route. I mean, there are some routes that are selling off, but for example, TC1 and TD6, that's an LR2 and a Suezmax route. I mean, those, went freaking ape shit in the last couple days.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a couple days ago, yesterday morning, I bought a bunch of Nordic American Tankers calls because that's the big retail name and that's the one that gets pumped. And Suezmax on TD6 was up 38%. So I was like, buy some Nat calls. I mean, those were up 500% today.
The calls?
Yeah.
Yeah, congrats on that. Yeah.
So,
okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
well,
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
going into the weekend, I mean, right now I'm holding some dry bulk FFAs, and I've got a little bit of tanker exposure. I've still got a lot of SFL. Yeah, I went out a little bit further on the Nat calls, but I also took some profits because, I mean, I don't know, man. They could have the ship, unstuck over the weekend, right? I mean, it's possible. Like I said, I'm not there. It seems like it's a really shitty situation, but I'm not there. Things, it happened really fast. It can change really fast, right?
Yeah. 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 All right, Calvin. Well, thank you for the update. And so if people want to get the tanker data, is it the tankerdata.com? Is this your website?
Yep. Tankerdata.com, and if they use coupon code Marius, they get what I think it was a 15% discount.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So yeah, you guys, if you're interested, tankerdata.com. My first name is the coupon code, and if you're interested, sign up. If not, then thank you for listening. So thanks, Calvin, for the info.